What's up, everybody? Welcome to Analog versus Digital. I am Chris. And our very first episode we have back from my original channel, or our original channel, was my old
His original
co-host,
channel.
Aaron. Say what's up.
Hey, what's going on out there? How we doing?
Um, yeah, man. How you doing? It's been a
Uh,
while.
it's been a long while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took a little mental health break, and now I'm healthy and still mental. So this should be
Good.
interesting.
Good. Yeah. We're I'm doing this new channel. And it's if you guys are interested in subscribing, go ahead and do that now, and liking and all that good stuff you're supposed to do. I want to make this channel more of a um the reason for the naming analog versus digital, a music style channel that has to do with anything to do with sound, music, audio, things like that, right? Let's just round it out to audio. It's an audio channel. And the reason why I wanted Aaron as the first guest is because we're both highly into music, and he is a musician as well.
Into music
So
highly.
into music highly, however you want to put it, right? And I hope you guys enjoy this episode. And we're going to be getting into a couple topics today. One is some pickups that we've gotten over the, I don't know, past month or two, whatever. And then we're going to get into the seriousness or the lack of live events, and what's going on in the world of COVID right now, and what it's like now compared to pre-COVID, and maybe talk about some other stuff that we've been listening to lately. So
Sounds
uh
good, brother.
yeah, man. So why don't we just jump right into the meat and potatoes? I know everybody's gonna want to see what we picked up, but we'll save that for a little bit later.
A little teaser.
Little teaser. Yeah. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of uh COVID. um and I don't want to make this a political thing. Obviously, we try to stay right in the middle, and this is has nothing to do with our political stance on anything. This is just our view on how how we feel about the state of live entertainment. I will just put entertainment as a whole during these trying times, right? So what is your take on post or pre-COVID versus COVID times? That's just the only way I can, I guess, put it.
Yes. The good days versus the nowadays.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, we've covered a lot of ground already with the commentaries on our passion for the live music scene,
Yes.
and you know, I can't help but think throughout all of this change and um, procedural requirements that these bands, these organizations, these families have to do in order to still go out there, one, make a living, two, provide and perform their art, and three, interact with their fans. And it's easy for us to take a perspective that as fans, as consumers, we notice a lot of differences and take them or leave them. It affects our current passion for the game.
Mhm.
But that's really just one side of it, because it's the artists themselves that have had to literally transform their way of life, just as we all have, in order to still go out there and make a living. And even the biggest, most blockbuster acts out there are under very intense and critical seclusion during a tour. They're not allowed to,
Yeah.
strongly recommended not to, but ultimately not allowed to go out and see people and experience life on the road the way it used to be. And I've been listening to and reading journals and web vlogs about what it's like on tour nowadays. And on that perspective, as a fan, I can say I do appreciate more what they have to do to get that performance to me at the venue. um
So you would say that it's really straining on the mental acuity of some of these artists,
I think
or
it
I
does.
would say probably a majority of them. Because I remember when we used to play live shows back in the day that they, I mean, even then it was hard, right, to do things. And I can just imagine not being able to go out after a show and hang out, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And kind of release that sort of I understand that playing music for a living seems like, oh my God, it's so easy,
Yeah. Mm.
you know, but it's not. And not to be able to, just like everybody else would in a normal job, be able to go do a 9 to 5 and then go out to a bar afterwards, or hang out with your buddies just to release some, you know,
Yeah.
stress, right? And it seems like how you're describing is these people are kind of being confined to what they need to do because this is how they make money, so there's no other way. You know, they need to kind of be in a bubble at a certain point.
Yeah. Yeah. Just as you and I are under new protocol, what we're allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do, and that will differ from state to state.
Yeah.
Um, the artist is under that as well, which means tremendous additional expense on their bottom line to be able to go out and produce a show. And I feel very fortunate that since the lockdown had sort of subsided and Live Nation figured out or essentially governed, or in part is the governing entity that these bands majoritively speaking have to go through.
Yeah, because Live Nation and Ticketmaster are the same company now, I think. So
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
got a lot of ton of like stuff that flows through them. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, every single day that they're on tour, they have to take tests. And if anybody in their crew comes up positive, it could derail the entire
Yeah.
ability for the band to perform that night or the following night for 20,000 people.
Yeah, much like football, it's the same way with sports too.
Yeah.
At this point, where they got to do it every day or whatever.
Yeah. So, on one hand, I'm sure the art will be reflective of these kinds of restraints and these kinds of conditions that they
Mhm.
have to abide by now. I'm sure that the art will, at least lyrically, reflect the times around us.
So
And
do you think it'll be better for writing in the
it depends.
future? You know?
To me, I think it depends on the artist and your appreciation of their style or their voice.
Okay.
Certain artists I don't think are going to wind up writing a bunch of you know majoritively, there's that word again, popular opinion, content that they hope that people who believe one thing on the side of the aisle or the other thing on the other side of the aisle are going to respond to.
Yeah.
I think the best artists are going to continue writing down the middle and writing about um, what still moves them and what gets them to feel the way they do and write the way they do.
Sure.
But I
It's
think that
hard to change up sometimes, when
yeah,
you're in a groove, I guess.
yeah. My concern early on, like April, May, June, July of 2020, early on, was that as we were already starting to see, the celebrity folk on TV kind of kissing ass in one direction or another, and all that stuff, that some of my favorite artists might do the same thing, and all of a sudden, because it's so disgusting, but it's like this year and the last year has been pick a side,
Yeah.
and it's
It's
just
divisive. It really is divisive.
it's so
And
rough. Yeah,
and
families.
I can't blame an artist either way, because on one hand, you have an artist that needs to feed his family, or their
That's right.
family, I should say, right?
Yeah.
So of course they're going to go to one side of the aisle because they need to be able to adapt, and be like, okay, well, this is how I need to feed my family.
Mhm.
And then I see the other side of people complaining about it too, where it's like, oh, well, you used to represent this and now you don't represent this anymore. And it's just like, well, you're damned if you do or you're damned if you don't. You know what I mean? What do? You either, the old saying, you adapt or die, right? Like is,
Sink or
so
swim.
sink or swim. So I understand from both sides. And that's why I wanted to preface before we started that we really don't have a side. It's just we're giving our opinion on how we feel about where it is going, I guess.
Right, right. Where it has been, we know and
Yeah.
we love, and we've devoted numerous countless hours and dollars to the cause
Yeah.
over the years.
Yeah. I
Moving
think
forward.
I think for the most part they're doing a good job though. I mean, for
Oh
what
yeah.
they have, right? Like what they
Yeah,
can do.
definitely. I mean, it's, the idiotic thing is when I hear somebody at a concert, talking a bunch of smack, and they're pointing at the artists themselves for being the reason that whatever their complaint is rooted in.
Yeah, that's not cool, man. I could have easily complained, just much like you. We talked about this on the phone actually yesterday.
Mhm.
That we've had some things that have been canceled, shows or postponed, I should say, canceled, whatever. And I can easily go up and say, for instance, we had 2 nights we were gonna go see Lagwagon. And for you that don't know who Lagwagon is, they're sort of a SoCal skate punk band that's been around forever, and much like Bad Religion, if you guys know who Bad Religion is. And
Of course, I know who Bad Religion is. Come on.
and they did 2 nights where we live. They were gonna do back to back on certain albums. It was like a 2 night event type of deal, so you had to buy
Mhm.
tickets for both nights. Well, both nights got postponed as of right now because somebody in their crew, and like you were saying, even a crew member, somebody in their crew actually got it. It wasn't even one of the musicians.
Right.
So they had to postpone, and then they started up back up in like New York a week later. And it's like, all right, cool. Are you gonna come around? So I can easily sit there and say, well, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, it sucks. Like, it's your guys' fault, but it's really not. What are you gonna do? We all
Yeah.
know when we go to buy tickets now that, you know,
There's
maybe or
like
maybe not,
there's a high probability until shit gets ironed out
Yeah,
that
it's
our money is going to get trapped in that
that
transaction.
void.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same with Hamilton. I bought my wife tickets to go see Hamilton, the touring, and that also got canceled this week. So that's the same thing, you know what I mean? And we're
Right.
talking about live entertainment. It's not just music, it's live
Yeah.
theater. It's, for a while there was no movie theaters either.
True. True. Yeah.
So
Just going back to the movies felt special, right?
yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Mhm.
Have you had anything that's canceled on you? Those are the two so far for me.
Yeah, there've been a couple, and the first one, the big one, would have been my wife is a huge Pearl Jam fan, and we got a couple of really decent tickets to the Forum show in
Oh,
LA.
okay.
But that one was postponed at the time early on, like within a couple of months of
Hmm.
the pandemic beginning, and they have played, and he has played independently multiple times in California since that show has been in limbo.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, every 4 months or 3 months or something, I get an email from Ticketmaster. Hey, we're thinking of scheduling it sometime in April.
It's like, why
And
didn't you honor the tickets when he came back around?
well,
Well,
it's
I'm supposing they
apples and
probably already
oranges.
sold those, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Yeah, it
mean
was
the thing
different.
is that the band is able to rebook and move forward, and their fans have the capital apparently to go out and buy, wherever they're going.
Yeah.
To their credit, I suppose Ticketmaster did give me an opportunity to get a refund
Okay.
at one point, and this was within a year of the original postponement.
Yeah.
Um, Realizing that they were not easy to get in the first place, and not anticipating any reason why they wouldn't rebook in a reasonable timeline, I did not take the refund.
Okay.
So, that's on me, but it is what it is. I mean, before COVID, these things would happen too. I think
Hmm.
Janet Jackson had a tour, and my wife and her sister and so on got tickets, and then she just decided, hey, I'm pregnant. Well, she didn't decide, but it became evident, hey, I'm pregnant, right? So she just postponed the entire thing.
Yeah.
Well, like a year and a half, 2 years, 2.5 years, I believe people are still waiting to get their money back.
Yeah. It sucks because it's not even the artist that has to go through that. It's the booking company, and the booking companies are not even the venue companies either, or Ticketmaster. It's basically, as far as how I remember anyways, and tell me if this has changed or not, but you would buy the ticket from the like a Live Nation or Ticketmaster or Golden Voice or something like that,
Mhm.
right? And then they would pay their percentage to the booking company, which then in turn pays the artist,
Yeah.
right, for
When you
booking them. Well, the booking company has to be the one to cancel it and give you your money back. And if they've already used all their money on a previous tour or whatever, you got to wait for your, money back. So it's kind of like it's like going through 3, 4 different people to try to get your crap back,
yeah, and I'm not going to say it's a scam. It's upsetting when you spend money on, an event you really want to partake in.
Yeah. I think it's
But
it's it's more upsetting because you wanted to do it, right?
well, yeah, I mean, but not to say that any of this is meant to be, oh, poor us.
Yeah.
It's like obviously there are bigger problems out
Issues.
there, but if we're just simply focusing on how on a micro level the pandemic has affected what we are passionate about, above and beyond life itself, then yeah, this is just one of the fallbacks of the whole thing. And I hope it'll be okay. But it went from no concerts to concerts if you are vaccinated, to concerts if you are with a test in 72 hours, to
Yeah. Yeah.
I have tickets to shows that I had previously bought under their original
Contract or whatever.
contract
Yeah.
rules that have since changed, and say that if you're not boosted you don't get to go. So you could, before,
Mhm.
if you were vaccinated, you could
That was
go.
fine. Yeah. Fully vaccinated. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like they're discontinuing the 72-hour test, which is very questionable in and
Mm.
of itself. I mean, obviously 72 hours you could get in contact with somebody who's sick 2 minutes before you walk into the venue and have
It's true.
COVID, right?
Yeah. It's true. Yeah.
So the whole definition is kind of a head scratcher. And then of course you get to the venue and they're like, let me see your card, and you show it to them and they're just like, okay, go through. These people are glorified security staff and
Yeah. They have
administrative
no
people.
idea if something is fake.
Exactly. And not to say that I would ever try to fabricate, because I'm sure the probability of
Oh, it's out there though.
oh,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure, you know but as easy as it is to get past that individual at the show,
Hmm.
with correct documentation, I'm sure it's just as easy when you're dealing with 20,000 people to go through with fake information. And if that's the case, the whole shebang is kind of redundant. It's all for looks, it's all for show.
Sure.
um
Yeah. Well, it's optics. A lot of it is
yeah.
optics because we need to. I hate to say this, but it's optics because people worry, right?
Yeah.
And they also want to make their money. They want to make sure that people are still coming in the door. So it's everything kind of gelled into one that makes it really hard to control. I mean, these people are trying their best to, like you said, everybody that's in the industry that has to do from the front door man to the dude giving you a beer, right? The bartender or
Right.
whatever. They all have to make some sort of money to be able to live because that's their job.
Right.
So, yeah, it's just hard times right now.
For sure. And not to complain, people have it really hard. I
Yeah. Oh
think
yeah. Yeah.
I think again, to say that, you and I, we're observing and reporting. I think at this point we're not
Yeah.
so much saying our world is coming to an end because
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
have inconveniences to go to our concerts
Exactly.
and shit.
First world problems, right? Like
Yeah, exactly,
it's
exactly.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah, to wrap up this conversation, I think that we're in a time where we're seeing things kind of evolve into maybe this is how the future is going to be for us. Because I mean, if you look at like a country like Japan, right? I don't know if you've ever been there, but um
I enjoy their food though.
they they constantly wear masks when they're sick, and they're very proper, right? They're very polite, and they're very sanitary and things like that. And I think that's kind of where we're headed. I think as our especially the United States, we're not going to see masks go away. Maybe we'll see mandates go away at some point, but I still think that people will still wear masks at this point. I think it's already ingrained in our society now, and that we're going to see more and more of, like, when there's large gatherings at a concert or a live event, you're going to see people still wearing a mask,
Yeah.
in the future.
Yeah, well, I would see this before before COVID. I mean, not necessarily as much by the American demographic, but
Yeah, but I'm
you know,
just saying we're
it
picking up
didn't
on that now.
it didn't
So
yeah, it didn't bother me before, and I had no inkling to the science behind whether what they were doing was useful
mhm,
or redundant. But the problem is there's too many facts out there that indicate that certain methods that we are taking on to try to be healthier
mhm.
in and of themselves are scientifically questionable. And I'm not going to go deep into that
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
that's gonna lean into opinions and things
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. No, I understand.
But
It's
the thing is though is that you said we're leaning in a direction where we're maybe going to emulate more of that Japanese or
I'm
um,
sure other countries too, but
yeah.
that's the one that comes to my head.
Yeah, if you are correct, half of me says I hope you're wrong, because
Mhm.
again, if it's rooted in redundancy, it's just kind of a manipulation.
Yeah,
But the other half of me of what you said was being polite. You know how they're polite and they're
yeah.
jovial and they're nice to each other. I don't know that there's a place on earth where everybody's cool with each other. I'd like to think there still
As
are.
cool as you can be, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but America has a long way to go.
Yeah.
Um, to get there, and the last 2 years has been the exact opposite. People waging war, verbal and psychological, on their own family members.
Yep. For nothing, man. For nothing.
Over all this stuff. Yeah, it's like life is short.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't want to make it too deep, but basically, it's just like if everybody was a little cooler with each other, then maybe we'd be further on in this.
Past this. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
the medical aspect
Yeah.
of it,
Yeah.
of
But
course,
mental
but
aspect of it
yeah,
and the
yeah,
social aspect of it.
yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man.
So be excellent to each other. I mean, shit,
Yeah.
they had that right in the '80s. Not enough people listened.
All right. So let's move on to a lighter topic. Shows you've seen in the last, I don't know, this let's say we're gonna be getting into a new year. This might actually go up after the new year, I would say. So shows that you saw in 2020 that
Well,
you
there were
thoroughly enjoy. I mean, you could say what you've seen, but what did you enjoy, I guess?
well, 2020 there wasn't much, right? Because by March they shut us down.
Sure.
April actually. So the last show was actually a trio of shows I saw in March of 2020. That was 311, doing 3 consecutive nights in Las Vegas at the Park Theater.
Okay.
Fantastic. If you're a 311 fan, you get deep cuts, you get 2 hours of solid music every night. Just fantastic. I was a fan before. I left being even more of a fan. Then there was like a year of nothing. Streaming, right? We did streaming.
Yeah.
And I watched a produced streaming special by a band called Pussifer,
Uh-huh.
which you may know is one of the three Maynard James Keenan side projects, right? Tool, Perfect
I've never
Circle.
heard of them, but okay, yeah. So it's yeah.
Um, that was really a neat experience. I mean, that could have just as easily been, recorded, put on Blu-ray, and sold the traditional way.
Sure.
But the fact is, here we are. We're in the midst of a transitional, scary time, and then we had this thing we could stream and watch, and that was the first
Okay.
of many offerings that I thought was A, well produced, B, artistically interesting, and not just a cash grab, and so on. Throughout
Yeah.
the year, Corn did one as well. That might have been this year, but
That's the one that we went together, right?
no.
Oh, you did a different one.
There was a streaming one.
Oh, a streaming one. I never saw the streaming one. I don't think.
Yeah, recorded
Okay.
live and polished up, and then put online for us.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
So that became like is this what music is going to be now?
Yeah.
And for
So
how
so
long?
so going with that theme of the recording or the streaming, I should say, live streaming, right?
Mhm.
I did see a couple in 2020 as well. I saw Lagwagon. Oh, we mentioned Lagwagon earlier.
Mhm.
They did one. And it was sort of in their just their little recording studio in their house. And then No Effects did a backyard party.
Mhm.
And that
Oh,
was
that's
really
cool.
cool. They did a full on backyard party with a couple bands. No Effects was the headliner, obviously, and they had a bunch of other musicians there. They had like uh some of the dudes from Avenged Sevenfold, and you know what I mean. It was like a bunch of like other bands that I don't know if anybody's ever heard, but like Propaganda and like
Mhm.
stuff like that, like like sort of the Fat Records stuff, right?
Mhm.
And then I also saw he's gonna come up later on when we talk about what we've been listening to, but one of my favorite bands of all time is they're called Boy Sets Fire, and
Oh yeah.
Nathan Gray is the lead singer, and he is doing his own sort of stuff. He's been doing it for past 5 years or whatever, and he did a really cool acoustic live show that you had to buy. Now you have to go through these like little websites to buy like tickets. Are like $5 or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
To
but
like
they were
to
reasonable. They
watch
were
them. Yeah,
accessible.
yeah, and so those are the only three that I did see. Um, but yeah, that was 2020. I don't think I saw any live shows in 2020 other than online. So
Yeah. Um, for me, it looked like things opened up in June 2021.
mhm.
The first live music I got to see for a year and 3 months, give or take, was
Mhm.
a little dive bar in Santa Ana. I'm sorry, correction, Costa Mesa, and it was two Rush tribute bands playing on the night. I remember thinking to myself, number one, this is the first group live experience since the moratorium or whatever. And
Yeah.
the fans were happy to be there. And this was just a little dive bar. And I
Cool.
thought, like,
What was the name of the dive bar? You were cutting out, and I want to make sure that people
yeah, it was a tiki bar in
tiki
Costa
bar.
Mesa.
Okay, cool, cool. I didn't know
Yeah,
if it was Alex's bar. There's a couple of different ones out that way. So
yeah.
okay, cool.
So,
Yeah.
interesting little
And that was a
place. I
Rush
mean,
cover band, you said? Like
yeah,
I said,
there's,
you were cutting out a little bit. I just
oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Xanadudes and Natural Science were the two Rush tributes, and they each played their own unique sets. And they had a little taco vendor on site,
okay,
taco
cool,
truck. So it was
cool.
it was not obviously a night at the Hollywood Bowl, but
Yeah.
it was fun to get back. And then a few months later, things started flowing again. We started getting our summer shows in Irvine and San Diego and stuff. Um, like for this year would be in just this past football arena or
Uh-huh.
stadium. I got to see the Rolling Stones for the first time,
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
and
They're not dead yet, huh?
there's a lot of like they're still touring their dinosaurs. Shit,
Yeah.
when I was 15 years old, that was the commentary, right?
Yeah, and it still is.
You don't want to go see those guys. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not alive. Yeah, they still are, but for dudes at that age to be able to perform and have the energy and the crowd by the balls for the entire
Uh-huh.
show was unbelievable.
Cool.
Just flat out
It
unbelievable.
was the same as Kiss. When I took Brendan to go see Kiss, it was, I was like, oh crap. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of mirrored there. I think Rolling Stones are a little bit older.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
They've got like 200 songs people know, right? So for them to pick 17 that would be a show, nobody would get to hear all their favorites. But for what they did play, I was super impressed, and my wife and I, enjoyed it from the floor level way in the back, and it was a good time. It was generally speaking, a good experience at the SoFi. They've got
Nice.
some work to do with regards to getting traffic the hell out of the venue when it's all said and done. We were there for 2 hours,
Hmm.
stuck, which is one of the worst things about going to shows.
Yeah.
of that magnitude. But
Oh yeah. We had a bad one too. I'll tell you about it when we get to my life stuff. But yeah.
okay, okay. I mean,
What else? What else
yeah.
did you see in 2021?
Uh, I saw Alanis Morissette, which was never really on my list. She was never really on my list, but
Yeah.
my wife was really down, and
Okay.
Garbage was opening for her, and I really
Okay.
enjoy that band. So we
Hmm.
cruised out to Chula Vista, and I was
Lovely.
surprised. She after all these years, I don't have no reference point for what she would have sounded like in her Jagged Little Pill era prime,
Yeah.
or if you
Yeah.
call that her prime. But as far as I'm concerned, the performance I saw would be prime because it was flawless. It was
Oh, I'm sure
energetic.
she's. I'm sure she's. Her voice has gotten better over
Just
the
yeah,
years. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, she's got one of those unique voices that if you gamble and go see that individual live, you don't know what you're
Uh-huh.
going to get.
Yeah.
Billy Corgan, another one whose voice could, if it's on and really, if he's in the pocket, it sounds great because nobody
Yeah.
sounds like him.
Right.
But if he's off because his sound is already kind of off or signaturized and somewhat peculiar,
Hmm.
then the whole show suffers if that unique instrument is somehow out of tune. And
Yeah.
she falls in that category, and she kicked ass the entire time. Songs I'd never heard before.
Cool.
um I just at the end of it was a fan of, and I was quite impressed by her.
Sweet. Sweet.
um Looking at the list, a lot of favorites I've seen. I'm not going to get into the reviews, but Megadeth,
Hmm.
311 again, Evanescence over at that new YouTube theater, which is right next to
Okay.
the SoFi.
Yeah.
It's a nice little indoor job, kind of like of a Gibson amphitheater, but sort of micro.
Okay.
Cool place if you ever get a chance to go. I recommend it. I saw Blue October again. They're one of my
Favorites. Yeah.
favorites. And then the last one I'll cap on would be over at the Pachanga in what is that, Temecula or somewhere, the
Yeah. Yeah.
casino.
Yeah.
I got to see Aaron Lewis of Stained do
Sweet.
his country gig, and
Sweet.
that was the best show in terms of vibe and in
Hmm.
terms of like goosebumps and
Yeah.
feeling like I'm next to the Stones. It was probably the most like I can't believe I'm here feeling
Yeah.
this way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, that dude can do no wrong, Aaron
Yeah.
Lewis, as far as I'm concerned. But
Cool, man.
it's
And then
been
we saw Corn together as well.
we did.
With Stained. Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that one to you, brother.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, because that's the one of like three that I saw.
Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't, like I said, 2020 for me was just not very much, right? I'm trying to even think. I didn't even see any live theater either. So it was really, I was working on a show and it got canceled.
Bummer.
Audio designer, or no, and I was doing some stage management for them too, and that got cut too. So um I am doing a show coming up in the spring though, which is gonna be cool.
Right on.
But there, and hopefully but anyways, yeah, I think the first show I saw back was the Corn Stained and who the hell? Who the hell was the opener? I
Can't
forgot.
remember.
Yeah, there was like two other bands. I don't well, I think we got into our seats when Stain started. So
Exactly. Yeah, it was like
yeah.
I heard the opening bass line for Mud Shovel or something, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
get
Stained is one of my favorite bands of all time. Um
mine too.
and so is Corn. Well, I don't listen to Corn as much as I used to, right? Like but I will tell you, by going to that show, I did download the newest couple last albums just to
Hmm.
listen to, because there was a couple of songs they played live that I was like, holy shit, like I gotta listen to those, dude.
For
And
sure.
I really, really liked them. I dug the last couple albums. There was a couple albums there with Corn that I was just like, nah, I can't. Like Paradigm Shift was really bad, and there was a couple other ones I was like, I can't listen to this anymore. You know what I mean? And then
Was that their dubstep record?
yeah, and I'm just like, all right, cool. I feel like they're kind of getting back into their groove, at the end of their career here. But Stained, dude, Stained's always been a home run every album they've ever made, and
Right.
I love Aaron Lewis, so like just same with you, and like I just seeing them live once again, like gave me goosebumps too. You know what I mean? And it was
Yeah.
just, it was cool, man. It was a good show. And that was over at, where was that at? That
It's
was at
a
the
5 Point Amphitheater in
that's right,
Irvine.
Irvine. Yeah. Did that used to be the Verizon? Is that what that was called before? Or?
That venue was built as a makeshift, temporary, couple of year venue in lieu of the Irvine Meadows being
Okay. Got it.
destroyed for condos.
Got it.
But it's a nice little outdoor job, you know. If
Yeah.
you're gonna see some shows that the audio is good, that
Yeah, it was cool.
there's definitely some bad seats in the house.
Yeah.
Perspectively, don't swing far left or far right on
Yeah, you got to
any.
be in the middle.
You really do.
Yeah.
But there's a lot in the middle, so there's a
Yeah.
lot to choose from.
They
But
remind me of sort of the Hollywood Bowl-ish type of setup. So,
a little bit.
um and then um and then we went and saw me and Julie took a trip to Vegas
Mhm.
for a weekend. We stayed there for 4 or 5 days or something like that. We have on the other channel, Nerds on Lockdown, if you guys are interested, we did a like a vlog of Vegas or whatever, you know.
Yeah, I saw that.
And we saw Bad Religion
Oh yeah.
at the I can't remember the name. Brooklyn Bowl, I think is the name of the place.
Mhm, mhm.
And I haven't seen them in 20 years, maybe something like that, maybe more than
Really?
that. Yeah. And I will tell you, man, that was the show of the year for me. I got like straight up, like you said, I got like just goose pimples everywhere. And I was, dude, it was one of those things where, okay, so I was wanting them to play certain songs, right? Like, cause you know, and they
Yeah.
played a lot of old stuff on that tour, and I was really happy with it. But they ended up playing American Jesus and a couple other like songs and
Mhm.
Kerosene. And once they played Kerosene is my favorite Bad Religion song.
I'll bitch.
Once they played Kerosene, dude, I was just like it was one of those like I wanted to tear up, you know, moments just listening to it live. And I'll
Mhm.
tell you what, dude, they still got it, man. They still got it. I know they've shifted through, you know, Jamie is their drummer for the last 10 years or whatever it's been. But it doesn't matter who's really the drummer, dude. The guitarist still got it. The you know, and most
Right.
important, Greg is still amazing live. Holy crap, is he good? I
Yeah.
mean, he makes it look so goddamn easy. It's crazy.
Mhm.
It's crazy. It's like
Would you?
I was telling Julie this. I was telling my wife this that after we seen him, I said, doesn't he remind you of like he's like a punk rock preacher?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like it's weird. It's like I'm going to see a sermon, but it's totally like not like religion. You know,
Yes.
it's a trip, dude. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah. I got to see them the one time during a 30th anniversary residency at the HOB Anaheim, and
Nice.
super super great show. Very
Oh,
close.
yeah.
Without I was close enough not to get elbowed, you know, and that's
Yeah, we
about as
were
close as I like to be.
I have a bad back, so we were in the ADA seats. So, you know what I mean? I usually get the ADA seating anyway, so it was
Why
pretty
not?
cool,
Yeah.
man. But the Alkaline Trio opened up for them, and they were
Oh, that's
really good
cool.
too. Yeah,
That's cool.
they were pretty rad. I had never seen them live, and I'm glad I did. And then the last show that we saw this year would have been the Lagwagon show that I talked about previously, but
Mhm.
and that this was during Thanksgiving weekend, but um we actually ended up going to a show. It was Punk at the Park
Mhm.
over in I want to say it was like Riverside or something like that in the backwoods, you know, something like that. I don't remember the exact city. I want to say it was Silverado.
Oh, okay.
Silverado. It was like by a lake. And this is the parking story I was gonna tell
Oh,
you.
hey,
So,
I'm gonna
so
take a drink
anyways,
before you do that, man,
yeah,
because those
yeah.
things always stress me out.
So so the Punk at the Park was just a bunch of it was two stages, one main stage, one side stage. And
Mhm.
it was a brew festival. So it was sort of like you get free beer,
Oh,
you know what I mean? Go around, do your tasting, and then watch a bunch of punk bands. And I mean, who's who of punk bands. The headliner was No Effects. Strung Out was there, which is my favorite band of all time.
mhm.
Um, and then you had Authority Zero, you had uh Ignite was there, which is they have a nude lead singer, so it was like tripping me out, you know. there was a bunch of just a ton of bands, dude. That played. Really good show. We
It's a
got
really good show.
really good show. we got we ended up getting VIP passes
Hell
to
yeah.
that to because there's no seating unless you buy the VIP passes. And then in the VIP section you get it's railed off and you get your own bathrooms
Mhm.
and you get the food venues are in there VIP pass so it's easier to get food as well. And then you
Yeah.
get seats with umbrellas because it was hot, dude. It was like it and then it got really cold at night. It was freezing. Oh, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. That was the other band that
Yeah. Yeah. We've
that they
seen them
were.
together.
Yeah, dude, they were. Oh my god, they were good. Anyways, so they what do you call it? We ended up leaving about halfway through NoFX's set because it got too cold for Julie. We were both freezing,
Oh
right?
man.
I had shorts on and just a hoodie, right? Like, and so we ended up so here's the parking lot thing. We their parking lot was one big dirt lot, right?
Mhm.
No light poles,
Oh.
no signs
Yeah.
where you parked, right? And
Starting to sound like Glenn Helen.
sort of, it's sort of like that, but there's no light poles, like zero light poles.
Glenn Helen
So,
Sands Light. It's even
so
worse.
so here's the thing. So when we were parking, we were sort of some of the first people going in,
Mhm.
and they parked us all the way over to the left. But when you start getting more and more people in, they start making these lanes for cars to drive through. So now
Mhm.
you don't know what lane, what block you're in,
Mhm.
right? So so we walked around for about 45 minutes trying to find our car. I'm sitting here beeping the thing, couldn't find it, dude. I'm just like, oh my
No.
God, I'm dying right now, right? Because I already have a bad back. So 20 minutes of standing up is killing me, right? So I'm
Mhm.
walking around, trying to walk around the dirt. It's dark as shit. We got our phone lights out, you know, doing one of these, like right, you know. And so we're walking around. She's like way over here looking. I'm like, we're separated, going, okay, we got to find this, we ain't got good cell phone reception at all because it's up in shitville nowhere.
Mhm.
And
Population you.
yeah, exactly. And there's nobody else out there, and there's a couple of people in like their vans and shit smoking out and doing whatever. And finally, about 40 minutes to go, Julie comes over. She's like, man, she's like, I can't find the car. I don't know what we're gonna do. And
Oh man.
I'm like, listen, I said, she goes, I remember that we parked right next to a white Tesla. And I was like, "Oh, white Tesla." And she said, yeah. And it had some sort of weird license plate name on it. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. So I turned around and I walked like three things over, like three rows over,
Mhm.
and I find the white Tesla and I look right next to it, and it's my car, and I'm like, God damn it,
Oh
I
wow.
passed by my car 10 times. So yeah, dude, it was a nightmare, and I will never go there ever.
You
It
didn't get
sucked, dude.
VIP parking with your
There was no VIP parking.
yeah, that's
It
what I'm
was
saying.
it
Sometimes
was
they roll that in with the package deal, But
yeah, oh man, it was terrible. Anyways, so yeah, that's my parking nightmare story.
well, I got one, but it's not safe for work. So
No.
I'll tell you that one on the sly one day. But
Okay, cool.
anyway.
I did have a dude piss on one of my wheels coming out of Glen Helen or whatever it's called now, Blockbuster Pavilion back in the day. He was pissing on my back tire. So that happened. Are you there? Hello? Oh, I lost
No,
you.
I'm here.
I lost you. I
There's,
lost you.
there's a little lag in the audio.
There
Yeah,
you
I'm
go.
still
Yeah, I
here. Can
lost
you hear
you.
me?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got you. Cool. All right. Well,
See, Glen Helen.
huh? Go ahead.
Oh, you were just saying that at Glen Helen, somebody was peeing on your back
Yeah,
tire.
when we were coming out of the venue. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember what show it was, but
See, that's the least of your worries because if you're at Glen Helen and you're on that big ass lawn, you're actually likely to get pee on you just by people
being there.
peeing on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So another reason not to go to Glen Helen unless you absolutely have to.
Right. All right, man. Let's get into before we do the pickups on the last thing, let's get into real quickly what are some bands that you've discovered this year and you've been listening to?
Well, I hate to have to look at my
Your phone,
Spotify to
your
answer this
Spotify.
question.
Okay.
I feel
Or
like
maybe an album from somebody you already knew that you were like, oh my god, this album's amazing, or something like that.
um well, awkwardness. Tremonti came out with a new record this year,
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
and I was a huge fan of the previous record, A Dying Machine,
Hmm.
concept record, fantastic metal beginning to end. This one, it had five or so solid playlistable tracks, and the rest of them, after a couple of listens, I just wasn't vibing with them as much as previous material. But I'll continue to support him because ever since Creed, Alter Bridge, I mean, I think we're on the same boat with
Yeah.
the love for Tremonti.
Yeah, absolutely.
New stuff to be excited about musically. It's not that there
It's
was
hard.
it's not that it was a bad year or a lack of releases. It's just like the part of me that was consistently reaching out, trying to hear and discover new,
Hmm.
took a back seat to adulting,
Got you.
unfortunately. So of the artists that I came across through occasional times where I would force myself to try to do that, like I used
Hmm.
to do naturally. There's an artist named Aaron Jones, or Aaron Jones,
Hmm.
Ayron,
Okay.
and he's got kind of a bluesy, hard rocky kind of thing going on. Really
Okay.
powerful vocalist and lyricist. Really, really liked what I've come across for him, and it turns out he's opening for Shinedown on their forthcoming Wiltern
Oh
show.
wow. Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna try. I'm gonna try to check that out.
I didn't even know that those guys were still around.
Shinedown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Shinedown's pretty poppy for the kind of music they do, but
Sure. I mean, I'm sure they're still sponsored by Monster or some
hey, relax, bro.
bullshit. All right, bro. Um,
Chill, bro.
nice. So some bluesy rock for you then.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, here
Cool.
we go. Um, Try to see somebody specific that was kind of new and interesting. Um, More of the same. That's the thing. I'm at the age now where I kind of just stick with what I like.
Yeah,
And
I got you. I've been there for a long time, but I every once in a while I'll come across a band and I'm like, oh man, dude, I really like them. And they might be a band that hasn't released anything in 10 years, but I had never heard, their stuff
yeah,
before. So for me this year, honestly, dude, a couple of bands that came out with some stuff that I mean that I already know was Nathan Gray came out with a new album a couple weeks ago. It's
mhm.
fantastic. If you guys haven't checked that out, go check it out. It's called Rebel Songs. It's holy crap, is it good? Um, I listened to the Newfound Glory Christmas album just because it was Christmas time, So
Right.
had to listen to that. And then the new Mayday Parade. I don't know if you know who they are. I've been a big fan of them for a long time. They came out with a new album about a couple months ago that was really good. Um, I'm glad they didn't change. You know how sometimes artists change. It was
Yeah.
and change is not a bad thing necessarily, but sometimes.
Well,
But
it's all in the amount of degrees,
sure.
you know.
But the newer stuff that I've been listening to, and I'm also looking at my Apple Music, so this is
Mhm.
kind of how you listen to a band that you like, and it says, oh, if you like this, then check out this. That's kind of how I come across stuff.
Yeah.
But I've been listening to a lot a band called The Last Gang.
Hmm.
And they're sort of a female lead vocalist led band. I
Mhm.
think it's a three piece, and they sound like the Interrupters with a
Okay, I
little
like
bit
them.
more grit, to them. They're sort of this sort of ska-ish punk band, with a little bit of reggae in them. Really, really good. They got a couple of albums. Another band that I've been listening to is called The Glimmers. And they're sort of this another female led band that has a couple EPs out, and they're real soft. It's sort of like soft rock,
Okay.
like like if Air Supply was a girl, almost
Thought Air
pretty much
Supply
a
was
girl.
a
Yeah,
girl.
yeah. um, Trying to think of if there's anything. I mean, other than that, Aaron Lewis's single was great.
Yeah,
Angels and Airwaves had a good release this year. Oh, Thrice had a really good album this year. So,
do you have the app called Loudie, Loudie?
No.
You need to get it. It's free,
Okay.
and they're one of those app agencies where when there's extra tickets to shows, they appear there for claiming.
Oh, check it out. Okay.
I saw the band you just mentioned a moment ago on the Angels and Airwaves was on there for free pickup.
Oh man, yeah.
And
I like
a lot of the stuff that I know you like has appeared on there.
Okay. Cool.
And it's absolutely free. Not that I'm trying to get in, endorse them or anything.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Actually, if anything, I don't want people using it because then they're gonna
take your stuff.
They're gonna take my tickets and shit. But no, it's super cool. I think you'd benefit from it. And
okay, cool. Yeah, I'll check it out, dude. Loud. Yeah, okay.
Free.
And then I think I think going off of, for me, the record of the year, that it was like, I mean, they're always good, like always, but was the Face to Face record. Nice. They're one of the bands that I've seen multiple times and I want to see more. Like they're so damn good live that it's just, so, yeah, those were kind of like what I've been listening to this year, I guess, and then I also listen to the older stuff that I always listen to, Strung Out and all that stuff. So
yeah.
But, I've been listening to a lot of Rage lately, though. I don't know why.
No, the music
coming
jams.
back, you know what I mean? Just yeah. But anyways, so let's get into we're gonna wrap it up here shortly. What have you picked up as far as music in the last, records or or CDs or whatever?
I grabbed a couple vinyl. You've helped me for sure over the years, develop
beef up your stuff. Yeah,
indeed. Some stuff that I'd already had in other formats, but I kind of wanted to see what the vinyl had to say.
Oh yeah.
Ended up with the Bob Marley Legend. I bought the soundtrack to the film Whiplash.
Okay, yeah.
Which is a real jazzy
Miles Teller movie, right?
Yeah. Really good flick. It's a handful of stuff. My dad's buddy at the apartment complex, right? He went through his garage and found a bunch of old vinyl and he was going to throw it away. My dad's like, no. Don't do that.
Yeah.
And so he comes over one day and he's got these two big old milk crates full of dusty, not well taken care of vinyl.
Yeah.
But it's got just amazing original quality content. A lot of the Doors vinyl records.
Okay.
Zeppelin, 3 or 4 Zeppelin records.
Nice.
Some Hendrix. I mean, really like Class A level.
Like Jim's, yeah.
Yeah. And I went through each one and kind of cleaned them all up and figured out what would play and what wouldn't. I don't want to destroy my needle and
exactly,
some amateur shit like that. But I listened to I want to say I can't be certain if the album is called Strange Days, but it's the album that the song Strange Days appears on. And whereas the Doors go, I thought I had pretty much covered all the material of theirs that I was going to enjoy.
Nice.
Between the numerous greatest hits records and whatnot. And I listened to this one side A, side B, and heard 5 songs I'd never heard before that are as good or better than many of the songs that would have been up there in my top 10 to begin with.
Nice.
So that was kind of a nice find to find something special in the past as opposed to finding more disappointment in the present.
Yeah.
But there is one newish band. I'm sure other people were aware of them before me, but they're called the Black Angels.
I've never heard of them. Yeah.
Droney, bluesy, kind of hypnotic rock.
Okay.
Really trippy.
Cool.
That app I told you about a second ago, I went and got tickets to them at the Glass House.
Okay.
And went and saw them perform, and they were, for what they do, they were quite impressive.
Nice.
So shout out to Black Angels
cool
sound there. And that's it. I'm definitely, with new time available,
gonna pick up some more.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna
Yeah, you should come out
re-engage.
next time you come out. We'll run over to Chaos
That would be cool.
Records and
Yeah,
we'll go check it out. I know the owner over there, so
nice.
yeah, we'll say
We'll
hi
shoot
and yeah.
shoot a little vignette or something.
Yeah, something. Anyways, I
Mhm,
picked up on vinyl. These are going to be all records that everybody knows, obviously, but I just didn't have physical copies of them.
mhm.
Um, I might have them on CD, but I definitely one I know I don't have. But I did pick up Rage.
Oh,
Rage.
oh, the covers record.
The covers record. This is probably my least favorite Rage album, but this is the only one I needed on vinyl. So it's kind
Mhm.
of one of those. I bought it because I needed it, but I also do like about I don't know, man. I mean, Microphone Fiend is amazing. Pistol Grip Pump is great.
Mhm.
I'm Housing is great. Renegades of Funk, I think I'm not a big fan of because I've heard it too much.
Sure, that was the one single.
Yeah. But Maggie's Farm is good. Ghost of Tom Joad is. I mean, there's a bunch of really
Yeah.
good songs on here. It's
Street
just, it
Street
was one of
Fighting Man.
those. Yeah, it was just one of those albums that I didn't listen to a lot when it came out, and now
Mhm.
I'm starting to appreciate it a little bit more, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
The
I
other,
feel
and
that way.
I'll
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
go ahead,
interrupt.
go
I was
ahead,
gonna
go
say
ahead.
I feel that way about Lateralis.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't get it at the time, but
I'll
dig it.
save I'll save the best. I feel like the best one for last because it was kind of crazy, and I listened to the other day and I was tripping. But I did pick up Warrant, Dirty Rotten Filthy
Filthy Stinking
Scoundrels.
Rich.
Yeah, yeah. But this is a cassette of Warrant.
Wow,
I still like to pick up cassettes.
you
So
you bought that at an actual store?
yeah, this is I bought it at Chaos. I buy pretty much all my music at Chaos. So yeah,
Wow.
he has tapes. He sells them to me for $2.99. So
Okay, that's about right.
yeah, I also picked up Slaughter, the Wildlife demo tape.
Is that the one
Um
that came before or after the Up All Night uh, album?
you're talking about Stick It To You is the name of that album. That's a
Yeah,
great album, by the way.
yeah. I just heard that the other day on the radio or somewhere. It's
This
kind of
one
interesting.
has Reach for the Sky on it, Days Gone By, Wild Ones, Times They Change, Real Love, and Do You Know. So no, it's not a demo for that one. I think it was a demo for the album that they had before that one.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then I picked up Three Doors Down, Away from the Sun. This is a one that I didn't have
It's a
yet.
good one.
I do like this one. This is their second album, correct?
I want to say they're possibly their third, but
Maybe
you
the
might be
third
right. Might
one,
be right.
second one. This is the one. Obviously, the big song is When I'm Gone. That was a big
Yeah,
song off of here.
huge.
Love Here Without You is also huge.
Hmm, hmm. Have
I think those were the two big ones.
you ever see Three Doors Down live?
No, I haven't because I just haven't had a chance to.
Mhm.
They've never been around when, you know what I mean, when I want to go.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I do enjoy a lot of their music. Like I enjoy the later stuff more than I do the earlier stuff for some reason.
Like Citizen Soldier era stuff.
Yeah, like I like the softer, like they've gotten softer over the years, and I feel like
Mhm.
the music's gotten better. Like
So they were.
I don't enjoy their first album at all for some reason. I can't get into it. But
Mm,
after that, I'm like, okay, I can gradually get into it.
yeah.
And then the last thing that I picked up, I didn't know this existed. And you know me, big punk fan,
Mhm.
big Misfits fan.
Oh yeah.
This is called Misfits Meet the Nutley Brass Fiend Club Lounge. And this is actually produced by Jerry Only.
Okay.
And it is on if you can see that, it's there you go. All right, cool. Yep. And
That's cool.
I'll read you a little sticker here. It's expanded with bonus packs. Evil has never sounded so good. Or damn kitsch. Basically what it is it is here's the back of the little cover. I thought was pretty cool looking. It's I don't even know how to explain what this is, dude, because it's weird. But basically what it is, it's Misfit songs
Mhm.
that are being played by the Nutley Brass Band.
Okay.
And they're basically this band out of New Jersey or something like that that's been doing it forever. They did a Ramones one too, and I didn't even know about. So I'm gonna have to
Oh,
look
that's
that up.
cool.
But basically it's like lounge music
Mhm.
mixed with sort of a uh space age pop, like Barbarella-ish music. So you got a lot of theremins and like,
Yeah.
like it's a trip. Go download it or try to find it on Spotify and listen to it.
Mhm.
But basically it's got like Last Caress, Astro Zombies, it's got Die Die My Darling, I Turned Into a Martian, Teenagers from Mars. It's got like almost a lot of like a ton of their hits.
Mhm.
And basically it's just turned into lounge music.
Okay.
There's no vocals. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
all
Okay.
kind of like you throw it on in the background type of lounge music and you
Right.
want to
You
sip a,
pour a martini and
yeah.
smoke a cigarette on a little long plastic thing.
But as a Misfits
Monocle.
fan, but as a Misfits fan, I know what the lyrics are. So
Mhm.
it's freaking hilarious, dude. So it's so damn good. And I was actually playing this yesterday and Julie goes, "What the hell are you listening to in there?" It's almost to the porn-esque, like like it's crazy, the it's
Okay.
it's it's really hard to explain for yourselves, for everybody out there. Go check this out. If you're a fan of the Misfits or even a fan of like lounge music. You don't
Or
even have to
porno
know.
music for that
Yeah.
matter.
You don't even have to, or space age like 70s style like ambient stuff. You don't even have to know who the Misfits are to enjoy this, to be honest with you. But anyways, I can read it to you real fast before we go. It says, "Yes, Fiends, the ultimate and most unusual of all the Misfits tribute lies in your hands." Blah blah blah. Nutley Brass. I'm trying to get to 13 classic era Misfits favorites have been interpreted in the form of highly well executed instrumental, retro inspired space age pop or lounge style cover versions that will have horror punks, lounge enthusiasts, and fans of incredibly strange music going wild in the pit. That's sort of their little thing.
That's
So,
cool. That's riveting. I think I'd listen to it based on that
um,
review.
dude, yeah, I was like, what the hell is this? And the dude at Chaos, like I said, he only had two of them left, and I picked up one, and then the dude right after me came in and he picked up one. He's like, "Yeah, I already sold out of these like right away. I just put them out." I was
Wow.
like, We didn't even know." Like he's like, "I didn't even know that they actually like if these were a real." Because sometimes you can get records that are pirated. I would say pirated, I guess, where they're not actually made from a record company. Somebody presses them and then sends them out, right?
Yeah.
This is actually by Misfits Records. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
their like
endorsed.
it's
It's
their thing. Yeah. And
a
I'm just like,
co-op.
whoa, it's crazy, dude. Like I've seen a lot of like, shitty, knockoffs, and this is not
Hmm.
one of them. So
You're gonna have to demo some of that on the show.
I will try. Yeah. I with hopefully no copyright, but yeah, I will try.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Just give us a couple seconds so we have an idea.
All right, man. Well, it's been nice having you on, dude.
Yeah, it's been great,
And
brother.
it's been a long time, and we'll definitely have to have you back on the show. Talk about some stuff in the future. And maybe do some more pickup videos. Everybody likes pickup videos, man. So we'll have to you have to
Yeah.
save a little pile of stuff,
Oh, I do. Behind me, I have. I mean, not in my padded cell that I'm currently sitting in, but in my
in your
storage room.
virtual cell, right?
Right. Yeah. I did pick up not too long ago a whole bunch of 99-cent CDs, and
Oh, okay, cool.
as I'm loading them into my Mac and I'm uploading them into iTunes, I'm realizing the redundancy of the entire process
Uh-huh.
because with the phone and Spotify, it's all right there.
Yeah. Well,
And it was kind of saddening in a way. I still went through with it and did it
yeah.
all and enjoyed it, but the hunt is the
Yes.
the fun part.
Yes. I still get physical CDs, and Julie's like, why? And I'm like, you never know, dude. Maybe the internet goes down one day.
Well,
You know what I mean? I want to be
we
able
can
to
only
listen to
hope.
music, we can only
Yeah.
hope. Um, but yeah, I have like towers of them. So I'll show some stuff off that I've gotten over the like the last year on the show too. But yeah, dude. Quick question before we leave,
Sure.
real fast. Inquiring minds want to know. Um, actually, two questions. Number one, is there anything you want to endorse? You got a new show coming up? You got anything YouTube or podcasting wise?
Yeah, yeah, thank you. For quite a while, I've wanted to sort of chronicle my live music experience for the past 20-25 years, and I've put a lot of work into the research, into getting everything kind of in a nice order, a skeletal outline, as it were, to be able to bring loved ones on with me and discuss the shows we've gone to together and what they've meant to us, and little stories that might come out of individual shows along the way and stuff. And it's really going to be a narrative show about the live music experience, both covering concerts of the past as well as the present and future.
Okay.
And it's going to be called Gig Chronicles, and I'm really
Gig
looking
Chronicles.
forward.
Do you know what platform that's going to be on?
Most likely YouTube.
YouTube. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So for everybody out there, stay tuned for Gig Chronicles, and you'll give me a heads up when you're ready to go, and I'll let everybody
absolutely.
know, to tune in, and we'll do some sponsoring on here for you.
Well, thank you.
And yeah, definitely, dude. I can't wait for that. I'm sure I'll be on there.
I would certainly hope so. Yeah. If you're like, no, I'm not interested, I'd be very sad.
And I guess the other question is if how do I put this? Inquiring minds want to know, digital or analog?
For music consumption or in
Yes.
general?
In general.
I'll tell you this. Digital seems to be consistent and yet flawed. Analog is inconsistent, and yet there are layers in the audio in the track that I had never heard before in the digital format. Example, I threw on one of the 80s era Rush synth albums, synth heavy albums, and I was listening through songs that I've heard 100 times, and there are entire layers of instrumental beauty that are in those tracks that I've never heard on any of the digital formats. It's not easy to move around analog. You can't take it with you. I mean, you can, but
you have a tape. You can use a tape.
Yeah. So I do enjoy still very much putting on a record if I buy one new or get lucky and get a little treasure trove. The process, there's a ritual and a process to analog that doesn't exist with digital.
Yes, absolutely.
And for the part of me that still loves, like you, going and physically touching the merchandise and pulling out the gems, the ritual is as important as the consumption to me, meaning that just because Spotify is convenient and super awesome in a lot of its own ways, it lacks the ritual. In fact, the only ritual that exists is compiling what you already know you like, or the exploring to create playlists and things like that. That's about the only side of the digital that I have the
convenience,
most respect for. Yeah. But,
okay, so I guess narrowing it down to, you feel analog sounds better than digital?
Quality of sound to analog all the way.
Perfect. Cool, man. Awesome. I'm in the same boat. Analog all the way. I don't like to do digital anything unless it's convenient for me to do so. So
right.
I mean, if I'm in my car, I'm listening to digital.
Yeah. And it
uh,
sounds great. The bass sounds great. The heavies and the lows, they all sound great.
But you do miss the warmth. There's a warmth to analog everything.
Yeah.
That you miss from digital. So yeah, for sure.
Cool,
cool, man. All right, well, thanks for being on, and
thanks for having me.
See you down the road.
Indeed, good sir.
All right, dude. Peace. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching Analog versus Digital, and we'll see you next time. Bye.